Well, hello again and welcome. It's that time again. I'm hoping by now that many of you know who I am. My name is Joy Ruffin, and I'm coming to you from the Sunshine State, Florida. Tonight, we're talking about leading ladies, leaving legacies, living legacies. And tonight, our guest is going to share a lot with you about what confidence is all about and how we get it and how we lose it, and the lies sometimes that we tell ourselves. So we're going to have a dynamic conversation, a lot of interaction, and I'm hoping that you will participate. Let me just read for you, just briefly, a little bit about our guest. Her name is Dorothy-Inez del Toffel. She is a three-time international bestseller, author, and confidence and presence coach. She began her journey in 2010 as a self-love and beauty coach after she had her own nervous breakdown, which we'll talk briefly about, that taught her really to love herself. This transformation inspired her to teach other women how to love and own the masterpiece that they are, that God created in them, so that they could confidently step into their purpose. Because we're all here for a purpose. I could go on and on about Dorothy-Inez, but what I want you to do while I'm bringing her up, and I'm bringing her up now, is I want you to tune in and to listen and to hear what she has to say. All righty, so let's bring Dorothy-Inez over. Dorothy, hello, and welcome.
Hi, how are you, Joy? I'm glad to be here today.
I've never been better, and I'm grateful that you are here today because I know what it took for you to get here, and I'm honored that you took the time. Listen, I gave them just a bit of a tease about your background, but I want you to share a little bit more about your background and tell us how you got into the type of work that you're doing now and why you love it so much. So take
Okay,
it from there.
I would love to do that. So, so how my story began was at the age of 40. I was working in corporate, and I used to manage, Joy, like teams of like 25 plus employees. And every employee that came to my team, I would always get them to listen to Les Brown's "This Is Your Decade" video. And it would inspire these people to go for their dreams. And one day, after 10 years of playing this for other people, I actually heard it for myself, that it was time for me to go for my dream. And so I ended up taking a leave of absence from work, and I went to makeup school. And so I started my entrepreneurial journey as a makeup artist and self-love coach. And during that period of time, that's when I discovered that every woman, no matter how successful she is, struggles in the area of self-confidence, self-worth, and personal presence is the word I'm looking for. And so as I just finished completing my master's degree, and as I did my thesis work on confidence, that's when I felt God leading me towards making my specialty of helping women to show up as their most confident self so they can do that big thing that God has sent them to do, and that they can show up with more purpose, power, presence, impact, influence, and income.
I love it. You know why? Because you see, when you get your awakening, you see that there's so many women, men too, but we're talking specifically about women tonight. You see so many, that there's a lot of bravado. The confidence and the self-esteem and the sense of self-worth is not there. So
Right.
I applaud what you're doing. We're doing it the same, but in a different way. And that's great. Now, why and how does that begin for most of us? I went through my journey. I know that you did. You mentioned and you shared with me your story. Can you share a little bit of that about how you had your breakdown and then you became more aware and in tune and awakened to your God-given gift? Share with us a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. So, and I think about 2010, Joy, I'm a military spouse. And we had gotten stationed in Savannah. And shortly after being stationed in Savannah, my husband was deployed overseas. And for the first time ever in my life, Dorothy-Inez was stuck being with herself. I was used to filling that void of not feeling enough, not feeling lovable. All of it, I filled it with men. But this time I was married and I couldn't go get a guy to fill that void. So I found myself having what I call my nervous breakthrough, not my breakdown, my breakthrough, because I realized in that moment how angry I was because I was abandoned at the age of 3 by my birth mother. And that left me with feelings of being unlovable, not worthy, not valuable. And those things I had a lot of anger inside. And that 1 year began my own journey to self-love, self-acceptance, renewing my relationship with God. It was the most powerful transformation that I've had in my life. And that's where I felt led and knew that God wanted me to help other women experience that transformation so they can experience their true self just as I do.
Dorothy, the way that you express that, I've heard it before, but your eloquency in delivering that, it was a breakthrough, not a breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
How powerful is that?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say hello to some of our friends here. We have Roy Montero. Roy, hello. It's always good to see you here. You know, Roy. We have Cynthia here, and we have a few other people. I can't see their names right here, but it's always good when you join us. And we love our Roy Montero. He is on the same journey as you in a different way. So let's applaud him for being here. And Cindy, it's always good to see you here. Blah, blah, blah.
Gotta love our guys, right?
You know, the other day, Dorothy-Inez, someone said to me, what is this leaving ladies, leaving legacies? What about us guys? You know, they want to be a part of everything. And so I said, you know what? That's a good thought. Let's find men who applaud women the way Roy Montero does and have them come on and speak to the type of women that they're looking for soulmates, for companions in their lives. Because it's not the hot and sexy mama. But back to you and I. How did the spirituality come into play here? What happened that, I mean, you already shared with us a wee bit, but tell us a little bit more about how spirituality plays an important part in your life now.
Mm-hmm. Spirituality is actually, Joy, the foundation of all of the work that I do, because I believe that we were sent here on purpose, with purpose, and that everything that has ever happened in my life is happening for me, not to me. But you can't have that type of view until you develop an inner knowingness of who you truly are, your true divine self. And that was the journey that I had to go on. You know, being a Jesus follower, oftentimes we're not taught, you know, really our divine essence. We're taught that God is out there and God is not in here. And we hear it, but we don't believe it. We don't embody it. And part of the work that I'm doing is helping women to truly embody the truth of who they are, their divine identity. Because when you can show up with your divine identity, you begin to be more bold. You begin to have more confidence. You're not worried about being judged and criticized by other people. You are willing to show up and be who God created you to be, whether people like you or not. And that's what happens when you are tapped in to the divine and you know who you are and you know why you're here. It's powerful.
Beyond powerful. Now, I take that in a different direction and keep it very simplistic when I use the term ladies, because your sexuality and your femininity has all to do with the confidence and the essence and the power that is innate within you. And once you gather all of that essence of you together, the modesty, the grace, and the love of who you are begins to shine through. And that's what you're sharing, you're giving to women who maybe are bouncing around, but they're not as confident as they want to be. When you meet and you share time and space with women, is that the number one element of their essence that you find, their lack of confidence?
Yeah, it's like women, first of all, they have trouble receiving, so I'm sure you've experienced, you give a woman a compliment and she instantly deflects it. Like you say, oh, I love your shirt. Oh, this old thing. I didn't ask for all that. Oh, your face, like I would have celebrities sitting in my chair, take their makeup off, and they would be so ashamed to let people see them. I'm like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. And so, and they're afraid to speak, in front of people because they're afraid of being judged. So confidence plays a really big role as in whether or not a woman is going to be successful, as well as my research also showed that how she feels about her appearance plays a huge role. So my work is an inside out job because not only am I a makeup artist, I'm an image consultant. So I do the inner work with the women, and then we align the makeup, the style, all of that to express one divine essence called you.
Oh, Dorothy-Inez, you nailed it. Love that. Because a lot of women who are very fashion conscious, they forget that it's about developing your own, my word is signature style. It's your own image, your presence, your appearance, however you want it to be. And it starts there. It's not the end all be all. It's the beginning of showcasing and standing as your favorite and mine too. Les Brown says, standing in your greatness.
Yes.
Stand in your power. Stand in your greatness. Don't be afraid to be brilliant because you are.
Right.
And so you're helping them in so many ways to do that. And different people come to this in different ways. For some, it's the God force. For some, it's another force, an entity. We don't really mind how they come as long as they come to the essence of who they are. Exactly. And everybody comes to it in different ways. There are different names for the different ways that people approach getting into the internal inside workings of who they are. I love it. I love it.
And that's the beauty of the business that we do, is that there are such a variety of coaches out there that people, men and women, can choose from that really resonate with their essence and who they are. Because yeah, you're right, Joy. We all have a different path, as far as how we get to that final destination that we were sent to get to.
Yes.
So I agree with you.
Absolutely. Let me say this to you. We have Adair. It's always good to see you here. And we have Roy here. And Roy wants to connect with you, Dorothy-Inez. So I said to you earlier, I'm saying it again so everybody will hear, we're going to put all of your links and all of your data, your information, social media, onto the website and onto Joy's TV. And you will get a recording of this. And then everybody will be able to connect with you. So Roy, hang tight. No worries.
Hang tight, Roy.
And Adair Palmer, who's there in Australia, who always shows up when she can. Hello, my love. It's always good to see you. I have to ask you this because I ask everyone, and it's a good one. Well, let's say, maybe not, but for you it will be. What is it that you know now, Dorothy-Inez, that you wish you had known earlier, that you can share with our audience, that they can walk away with some value that will benefit them on their journey? What is that now that you know that you did not know earlier? We all have something.
I'm going to say what comes first and foremost. Sometimes we think about stuff too hard, and I'm going to tell you what popped in my mind instantly. And that's that I'm worthy. And like I said, being abandoned by my birth mother left a lot of emotional scars. Issues with my father, telling me, because I'm the only artistic one in my family, and he was very concerned about, am I going to make it? And I always wanted to be a singer. I always wanted to be a dancer, be in the music industry. And those things for me got shut down at an early age. And had I known that I was worthy and that anything was possible for me, I can't, I probably wouldn't have waited till 40 to pursue my dream. I would have done it earlier. So had I known, had somebody said, Dorothy-Inez, you can do anything, and you're so valuable, and your gifts are so valuable to the world, I can't even imagine who I would have been, but I'm glad that I know that now.
That's very good and very powerful, and I think that could apply to many, many people.
Yeah,
What
and
is
I
it?
just want to add one thing too,
Please.
Joy, on that, because probably some of the people that are watching us might think that it's too late. I started my journey on this, evolution of myself at age 40. I just finished my master's degree and I'm on phase 2 at 51. So it's never too late, ladies, gentlemen, to be that person that you've always envisioned yourself to be. It is never too late. And I just want to encourage you today to step out, get the help you need to step into that person that you see in your mind's eye.
Whew, brilliant, because it is never too late. It takes many of us, myself included, time to discover that. But what we're hoping to motivate and inspire for those to know and to receive the message now that whatever it is you want to do, start, get
Yes,
going, because it isn't too late.
yes.
This spirituality that you speak to, and that's so much a part of your essence and your being, other than your religious aspect, what other ways are you incorporating that into the essence of who you are now, Dorothy-Inez?
Well, so let me clarify before I answer. So, like, how my spirituality influences other parts of my life, would that be the essence of the question?
That would be it, right on
Okay.
point.
So how it, like I said, how it affects me is, I think the biggest area is stress management. Because I used to have a victim consciousness. I used to walk around thinking, oh, woe is me. Oh, I'm this way because my mother left me. I'm this way because my dad was never around. I'm this way. I had all kinds of excuses about why I was a certain way. But it wasn't until I began to embody my true self that I began to, when things happen, I go, psh, this is happening for me, not to me. What do I need to learn? Because every person I encounter is my teacher today. They're here to teach me something. And when you can take that kind of perspective to things, even when bad things happen, because bad is just a label that you choose to put on things, it helps how you ebb and flow through life.
Oh my.
And it also, like, it just brings me peace to know that I have something, this source, God, spirit, the universe, whatever you call it, that is partnering with me, that I am co-creating
Yes.
with this energy that I personally call God. And that, that is for me the most powerful thing. And I think what excites me about it, Joy, is when I see little bits, like I think of something and I hear that little voice speak to me, and then it happens, or that parking space shows up, just little bitty moments that other people would just say, that was a passing thought. But I actually act on those passing thoughts. And so many blessings and people come forth into my life because my ears are tuned in.
Oh my. You gave us so much there. Let me back up just a wee bit. One of the things that you come to as you get more into your spirituality, your God force, whatever it is for you, and I've heard Roy Montero mention this at different times. Everything that happens to you, you said it in another way, it happens to you to give you something that you need, or to take away from you what you no longer need. And every person who comes into your life, good, bad, or indifferent, however you want to put it, it's always for a reason.
Yeah.
And once you get that, that takes away a lot of the stress factor in your life.
Yep. It
Isn't that
takes
true?
a huge load off your shoulders because you're like, woo, yeah, thank you, Joyce, for that lesson today. It's like you just realize life is too short for all that. And if you just know that this is all preparation for the journey. This situation is going to help you to speak to your client, and you never know, you're going to have to use that example with somebody to help them move to the next level. So even if you make that little tweak in your mindset, you will see such a big difference in your life.
You will. And in conjunction with that mindset and that outlook, what you mentioned is that you also have to learn to listen to that little voice.
Mm-hmm.
Because that voice, however he or she comes to you, it comes to you with something that they want you to take in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you heed and if you're in tune with the essence of the inner you, then you will hear that voice. It makes a big, big difference. Dorothy-Inez,
Let me just say one quick thing on that, because I know we got to wrap up.
very quick, go ahead.
On that is that one, because I was just talking to my best friend here about the still small voice, because I was reading her passage today about the still small voice. And oftentimes we expect that it's going to be a voice different than ours, that it's going to be this, oh, listen, and actually the voice that you hear is in your voice, because it's the divine in you connecting with the divine from above. So don't expect it to be some crazy, big, powerful voice. It's that inner, and it sounds just like you, because inside you know exactly what to do.
Oh my goodness. Listen, Dorothy-Inez, we have someone here. Her name is Kristen Marie Beck. And she says, my godmother is amazing. Would she be talking about you?
Yes, that is my goddaughter.
Well, thank you, Kristen Marie, for arriving. We love seeing people here, always new and the old and faithful, or the new and faithful, whatever. It's always good to see you here. Dorothy-Inez, tell us a little bit about what you're planning for the future, what you're looking ahead to do and to be about in the next few weeks, months, years, whatever.
Well, I am excited to be launching my new program, my new confidence program. And I guess I could reveal it right here. It's not fully together, but I'm super excited because it was a divine download, and it is called the Christ Confidence Code. It is called the Christ Confidence Code. And you don't have to be a Jesus follower. It's really about having that Christ consciousness. And when you have that Christ consciousness, and like I said, understand the divine within and embody the characteristics of the divine within, that's when your life, your confidence begins to explode. So I'm so excited about what God is bringing forth inside of me as I'm creating this program for women.
I love that. I love the name.
Yes, I love it too. It came to me while I was eating eggs at the corner bakery.
And the name just rolled in, and you said, that's it. That's the name I want to use. That's fantastic. When will you be ready to publish this book? When will it be published?
And it's funny you say book. It's not a book, but God did tell me it's going to be a book. So
wow.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a book and a program. My goal is to launch it within the next 60 days. My coach and I are working on getting the outline and things together, and I'm going to start launching it probably within the next 60 days, so people can look out for that.
I think that's fantastic. But listen, when you're ready, in addition to all of the social media sites, clickable links that you gave us, and all the other data that will go on the site, anything else that you want to put on there, if you want to put a little tease that will be ready in 2 or 3 months, however you want to word it, we'll do that as well.
Okay.
Tell us how you are planning to market what you're doing as far as bringing people in, other than what you're doing now. How do you bring people into you?
What's been the most effective way for me, Joy, is Facebook. I meet so many phenomenal human beings on Facebook. It cracks me up when people say, oh, I don't do Facebook, it's so negative. I'm like, I don't know what you have in your feed, because everybody in my feed is amazing, so I do it through Facebook. I also am going to probably be starting my own meetup group here, but before the end of the year, start doing that and getting out there more. But that, Facebook is where I hang out. If you want to find me, come to Facebook.
I completely concur. I completely agree. People who knock Facebook, I don't think they really understand it, and they don't get it. And in time, they will. Now, the time does fly. So let me just ask you this.
You're so cute. Time does fly.
Sometimes I get so engrossed in listening and tuning in, and then I look and I say, my goodness, the time. Because the truth is, if we wanted to do this for 4 or 5 hours, we could. But people have other agendas and time and the attention and other things. So I really try to keep it between 25 and 30 minutes max. So that said, we could go on and on. Let me ask you this in parting for now. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you want me or wish I had asked you? I still can. Is there anything you want to share with us that you didn't? I mean, the floor is yours. Just take it and fly.
Yeah, this is a simple thing. And that is, I wanted to share about my name, because oftentimes, where I told you the story about my name, my name is Dorothy-Inez. Del Tufo is my last name, but I go by Dorothy-Inez. And so often, I don't care if I squish that name together, if I put a hyphen in that name, I still get called Dorothy, and I hate being called Dorothy. And so I used to be called Inez, like my goddaughter, she calls me Inez. And but when I started this business, I went to God and I said, well, what do you want me to call the business? Do you want me to be Inez Inez, I think I was Del Tufo International. What do you want me to be? And he said, I want you to use your first name. I want you to use Dorothy with Inez. I was like, come on, God. Dorothy is the name of my birth mother who abandoned me. So I didn't want to use her name. And do I look like a Dorothy? No. But God said, remember what your name means. And if you're familiar at all with scriptures in the Bible, people's names were changed based on their calling, or they were named based on their calling. Well, Dorothy means gift of God, and Inez means with a pure heart. And God said, this is who I have called you to be to every woman that you serve. And so it was from that point that I took on this name. I was also angry, still dealing with anger at that time. And it helps me when I hear Dorothy-Inez, I don't just hear a name. I hear gift of God with a pure heart. And I'm reminded of who I am. So don't call me Dorothy.
You shared that story with me when we first met, and I wanted you to share that story. So I'm glad we ended with that, because I love the story. And I love the two names and what they mean, because they're very indicative of who you are. We met, and we don't really know, but we're getting to know each other. We're on the same page. We're reading maybe a different book. I'm hoping, and I know that within the next, I don't know what the time frame is, because I haven't gone there yet. We'll do a joint venture. We'll do something together that will benefit us and will benefit all the beauties, the women, the ladies that we bring into the fold. So can I say to you that this has been fun?
Yeah. You're such an amazing woman, Joy. I told my friends when we did our first call, I was like, this lady is so spunky. I want to be like her when I grow up.
Well, ditto right back to you. And you used a word that my friend here, Roy Montero, called. He said, you kind of spunky. And I don't see myself, but we don't see ourselves. I don't see myself as funky, but I take it as a compliment and I embrace it. And I say ditto right back to you. I can't wait to get to know you more, find out more about you. All of your data, all your information will go up, and we'll stay in touch, and we'll go from there. I'm going to say so long for now, unless there's something else you want to share before we
No,
say
I
goodbye.
just want to say thank you for all of you that tuned in live, and don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm real personable and I would love to hear from you. And put any questions down in the comments that you may have. If you're watching the replay, don't hesitate to ask questions and just tag me in those so I make sure I see them. Okay? So thank
Absolutely.
you, Joy.
Thank you, love. Don't go. Stay on the side, and I'll get to you soon.
Okay.
This is great. Let me just say bye for now. You know, again, I say this every week, don't I, guys? I don't know where the time goes, but when you have people who are so engaging and they're so full of spirit and passion and motivation, and they're all about how they're going to inspire, enlighten, and share their gifts and talents and their wisdom with others, then you can't help but be caught up in the flow. And then you look and say, "Ooh, where's the time?" I think I'll extend it from 25 to 30 to maybe 35 to 45. We'll see. But thank you all for being here. Roy, it's always good to see you. It's like a love that's just there. And all the other people who are here, Adair, what can I say? And I see other names here that I'm not familiar with, but that's okay. We'll get to know each other. Dorothy-Inez is phenomenal, fantastic. She's full of verve and vigor and passion. What else could you want? And the intelligence is there. So what I'm going to do is put up all of her information. Give us about 24, 48 hours, and then you can get the link and you can share it wherever you would like. And please do contact her. Roy, she would love to be in touch with you and to see what you're about, because what you're about is God-given for all of us to share. So my friends, until the next time, be well, look after you first, do the very best that you can, because only then are you able to look after others. Until we connect, you be well and take care. And remember, we'll be back with you again next Tuesday night, same station, same time, 7 p.m. Have a great week, friends. Until the next time, bye bye for now. Cheers.